Welcome back to another video from our new series of 5-minute tutorials on important Godot concepts and practical skills. Today we're going to talk about the Godot Editor. When you start Godot, you get to the Project Manager. This is the place where you can access, manage existing projects, import projects, or create new ones. I have two here. I could filter them if the list would be too long. I can also sort. I have access to my local projects, but also to an asset library where I could search for templates. Let's create a new one. I need my project path and the name of my game. Let's just call it new. I need to create the folder because it requires a new and empty folder. And then I get the green tick box. Finally, I have to pick the renderer. I pick ES3 if I work with PC kind of games, or PC VR, and if I'm on the mobile platform, I pick ES2. On Godot 4, you also have the Vulkan renderer, but we will cover that with another video. Finally, I click Create and Edit. The editor has different areas, and let's have an overview of that. In the upper left corner, we have the main menu. On the top, we have workspaces, depending on if I want to work in 2D, in 3D, write a script, or access the asset library. Then I have playtest buttons on the upper right, if I want to run the game or the scene. And in the center area, I have the Viewport. This is the main work area that has its own toolbar. This will change depending on me changing this. If I switch from 3D to 2D, the viewport will change accordingly and the toolbar will change as well. Surrounding the viewport, I have different docks. I have the scene dock that shows me the logical structure of the scene with nodes and hierarchical node relationships. I have the file system that shows me the file structure as it is on the disk. And then I have the inspector. When I select the node, the inspector will tell me all the details about the node and allow me to modify it. And on the bottom, I have the bottom panel and gives me access to the output, a debugger, audio, and an animation manager. Let's look at the editor again with an example scene that I created earlier. This is the 3D environment, and I have my 3D workspace activated here. My viewport shows the 3D scene, and I have a contextual toolbar here that allows me to select, move, rotate, and scale objects. The environment's logical structure is shown in the scene dock here on the left. We can see a tree-like structure of nodes. For example, world is a node or camera. When I click on camera, I can see it being highlighted here in the viewport. I can also see the inspector shows me details, like the rotation. I can click on other objects or nodes in the viewport, for example, this capsule, and then I see this capsule is actually a player. I can see next to it icons. We see icons here all over the place. For example, this eye icon. If I enable it and disable it, it hides and unhides. Or this movie icon. I click on it and it turns out this player is actually a scene by itself with a separate tab next to world. And it has notes by itself as well. And I can hide and unhide it again. I have this script role icon next to it, and when I click on it, it gets me to the script view. So this script icon brought us to the script workspace. Godot offers a very decent IDE together with the tool, which is really handy. The center part here is occupied by the code view. You can see the code, and we don't worry what that all means for now. On the left, we see that this is player.gd, which is short for Godot script. We can also see on the bottom that we can kind of have a detailed view on that script. So we have one method. I can click on it and it highlights the header of this method, this function in line 11. But I cannot just do coding in here. I can also look up API documentation. So when I hold Control, the Control key on the keyboard, I hover over it. I can basically look up, and I click on kinematic body here. It shows me the API documentation for this class. I can read up on it. I see details down here. For example, when I click on methods, I see all the methods with this class. I can read up here. I can go back and use what I've just learned. So then I have the FileSystem Dock here on the lower left. It shows me the physical file structure that exists in my project folder on my hard drive. This res / is the root of it. Inside I have files and I have
folders. For example, I have this models folder where I keep my destroyed buildings as a model here, for example. Or I have an icon. I double click on that. I can see the icon here with some information. I also have my scenes here. See, world TSCN means world scene. I double click on that. Or I double click on player. I can also right click on this to see show me in the file system, and then it changes around. I can also, of course, look it up in the file system by saying, well, open in File Manager, and then I will actually see how it is stored in my system. So there is a relationship between this dock and the other docks as well. And finally, we have the bottom dock here. And when I click on output, for example, I can get an output log of everything that happened that had a system output. I have a debugger here as well. I have search options. I have audio and animation managers. I can click and click again to fold it in and out. I can also click on this little icon here on the right to fold it up all the way, and I can make it go away again. That's really it for this video, and I want to apologize for running slightly over. I hope you forgive me, and you like and subscribe, and I see you soon again.